An Atlanta senior living center has been infiltrated by dope fiend homeless squatters. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the veranda at College Town in Atlanta, Georgia, which has been infiltrated by homeless dope fiend squatters. Now, this is supposed to be senior living, so I would suppose you got to be a certain age to live there. 55, 65, whatever the age is, you got to be that to live there. And it's supposed to be just for them. Now, unfortunately, not only is it not just the seniors, you also have straight up squatters in there doing all kind of stuff. Drug activity, other illegal things. A whole lot is going on in this place. Now, I know I'm showing my age here, but if you guys ever seen New Jack City and how they took that apartment building over to make drugs and things of this nature, they're talking about it might be to that level. Maybe just a little bit exaggerating here, but the point is there shouldn't be homeless dope fiend squatters in a senior facility smoking crack and shooting up fentanyl and things of this nature. But unfortunately, that is what's going on, and this is part of the issue with squatting all over the nation. You are not only having people that live somewhere where they shouldn't be, but they also bring crime and violence and the general air of lawlessness to the area. Now, before I go any further, let's get into the actual clip. Of course, I will link to everything in the box. And if you're on IG, visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
We'll hold a hearing next month to address complaints about conditions at an apartment complex designed for senior residents. While the hearing is in response to one resident, several seniors have reached out to Fox 5 with a number of complaints, including safety, crime, and filthy conditions. Fox 5's Angelique Proctor talked to those residents and also heard from the apartment owners to get their side of the story. Angelique.
Now, let's pause right here. When people say, let's legalize drugs, it shouldn't be a thing, we've lost the war on drugs, people who say that don't live in places like this where the drugs are really rampant. I have an anecdotal story I'll talk about after we get done with this.
Well, good afternoon to you, Christine. Several residents here at Veranda at College Town say this building is downright dangerous. They also say it's filled with squatters and criminals. Tonight, they are asking for help, and management at Atlanta Housing are trying to improve things.
They have a lot of criminal activities going on in that building that needs to really be investigated.
Daughter Renita Collier contacted Fox 5 earlier this year with a laundry list of complaints about Veranda at College Town, where her father, Charles Russell, has been living since 2016. She says he had a leg amputation and lives on the top floor and is subjected to unfortunate living conditions.
They have like 9 people or 10 people who are sleeping there without any electricity, any power, and they're just squatters.
Now, if you're living in a place with no electricity, no power, it's probably no running water either. So the smell and the criminal activity is not only dangerous, but unsanitary. And those conditions can spread to the other apartments. You're talking about the rodent infestation that's got to be going on, has got to be out of control. And some are going to say, well, she should have her dad live with her. Not everybody has that luxury to be able to support their loved one in that capacity.
Basically, there are many junkies that's over there that jump the fence to climb over to the property that was supposed to be prohibited from entering the property.
Veranda is owned by Integral. Senior Vice President Rick White tells us the facility has faced challenges, but we are committed to managing these issues as effectively as possible. The issue of unauthorized occupants or squatters is a significant concern. We coordinated our off-duty APD officer with on-duty APD and successfully arrested 2 individuals that were squatting in the building.
Okay, you got 2 guys out, but from the sound of it, there's probably a bigger issue than 2 people.
They also point to 2 disruptive households that are the source of unwanted activity and will soon be evicted. Ms. Collier and other residents who complained about the conditions of Veranda to the Fulton County Commission also have safety concerns. Atlanta police have confirmed calls for motor vehicle theft, vandalism to property, and burglary, among others.
When I've been there at night, I've noticed that people were kicking the door, looked like gangbangers, because they were certainly not other senior citizens.
We have people living in our attic. We had vandalism of our cars. The other day, I was told it was 9 car windows that was broken out.
We just begging for someone to please come and.
Now, one thing about it, this is not necessarily in the best area. You know, I mean, talking about West End, Vine City's like right, not that far away. So we're talking about you're already not in a very good area of town, and you have lack security. So there's a lot of things that factor into this.
See what's going on with our building. The homeless keep tearing up the back door. They keep breaking in people's cars. So we just don't know who to ask for help.
Now the building has 100 units. Each tenant gets a subsidy from Atlanta Housing. The city will have a hearing on some of these issues coming up June 18th. We will be there and let you know what happens.
So, yeah, that's that. Now, I think what they were talking about at a certain point was there's some troublesome households that are probably authorized people, and that is going to be the source of the problem. So if you have one of these apartments and you just let your crackhead cousins come in and do whatever they want to do and stay, and maybe you might charge them a certain amount of money to stay there, and you might be on drugs yourself. Like, you could be an authorized tenant, but also be a dope fiend and have your dope fiend friends come over and party and things of this nature. These are the kind of things that go on in environments like this, not just this particular place, Veranda at College Town in Atlanta, the senior facility, but in a lot of these hood areas, it's like that. And going back to my anecdote as I close, when I was a kid, I lived in really hood areas, and I've seen a lot of different things. And at one point, we lived in an area that was kind of hood, but not really, meaning there might be a shooting every now and again. It wasn't really that often that we had gunshots happening, but it did happen occasionally. Now, when they tore down this housing project, and if you know about Virginia, you know about Portsmouth, you know what I'm talking about right now, it was this project called Outer Barber. Now, this project, it kind of reminds me of what they're talking about right here, but on steroids. This is the 90s, crack at an all-time high, violence at an all-time high. It was nuts. So my neighborhood was relatively quiet. It was kind of hood, low income, but it'd be a shooting every now and again. That transformed into an animal house overnight. Overnight. I'm talking about all hours of the night, people banging on your door, people, you know, drugs, high as gas, acting a complete fool. It was crazy. Music all night, parties all night, drugs all night, everything. And a lot of us who could leave, and remember, this is an all black area, 100% black neighborhoods. I always lived in my whole life until I got to be like in high school. But all of us who could leave left from Portsmouth, Chesapeake. It's like the greener pastures. Everybody did that. And right before we're scheduled to leave, my mama bought a house in Chesapeake. Right before we left, there's knocking the door about 4 o'clock in the morning. Now, I'm thinking I'm dreaming. I'm like, what's going on? But we live in a small apartment, and as I'm hearing the knocking and thinking I'm dreaming, I hear my mom move in the other room. So I get up. So because if it's somebody at the door, I got to protect mama, right? You know how the whole thing go. We go to the door. It's the police. They open the door up, and then they review my mom's car, which is parked like right there in the parking space, right in the parking lot. And there was another car that had been crashed and just left in the back of it. Some dope fiends probably stole a car, as they're talking about right there, or breaking into cars, stealing cars. They probably stole a car, drove around in it, and crashed while they're high, and just left it in the back of my mom's car, totaled. Had to get a whole brand new car. That is the kind of thing you're going to see in neighborhoods like this. So when people say, as I close, hey, legalize drugs, it's no problem, no harm, no foul. Try living in an environment like that, and then give me your opinion about it. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about this whole epidemic of squatters and the dope fiends and whatnot, just doing whatever they want to do, going to these apartment buildings, going to houses, staking claim, making things dangerous, terrorizing people, whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I mean, I don't know what the solution is beyond a tighter security presence, a tighter police presence, maybe more penalties for doing things like this. Maybe some of these laws that got to get passed as far as squatters and troublesome tenants. You know, I understand trying to protect tenants' rights. You have a lease and you, okay, cool. But you in there smoking crack and doing all kind of stuff and engaging in consistently criminal activity, you got to go, man. Not only do you need to go and get evicted, but you also need to go to the penitentiary to make big rocks to little rocks. Or at least that's my humble opinion. Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.